The second, the 12 milligrams of adenosine, the patient starts deteriorating. Patient complains of chest pain. Now the BP is coming down. BP is now 80/40. We have now, the patient is diaphoretic. They are complaining of extreme chest pain. So that is a patient who has changed condition, isn't it? It's a patient now, from a stable patient, we now have an unstable patient. Okay? So what do you need to do? We can actually continue, we can do what we call synchronized cardioversion. All right? Synchronized cardioversion, you can do it using a defibrillator. It is always recommended that every hospital has a has a defibrillator. If you can have it in every emergency area, like ICU, casualty, that is good. If you can't, if your hospital is, let's say, resource constrained, have at least one in the hospital, okay? So for synchronized cardioversion, the first thing you need to do is tachycardia. You want to do tachycardia with a pulse. Your patient has a pulse, came talking to you, okay? So you want to sync but you press the sync button. So how do you know it is syncing? It's written here, sync. And when you look at the rhythm, everywhere there is a dot. Can you appreciate that? So it is synchronizing. What is synchronizing? It is going to deliver the energy at the R wave, at the point of maximum contraction, ventricular contraction. So number two, you choose the amount of energy you want to start with. It's always good and recommended you start from low energy going up. Okay? So we are going to start with 50 joules. So that is point number two. Point number three, what do you need to do is to charge. It's actually telling you, once you have selected the energy, it's telling you, charge me. So you need to charge the machine. So after you've charged the machine, you've seen 50 joules, it starts making noise like that. Now you are going to deliver the energy. Sawa. How do you deliver the energy? So let me disarm first. I don't want to kill Fatma here. So it's always good when you're using this type. When you're using this type of pads, it's always recommended that you charge when you are on the patient. Okay? Because you can imagine if I have charged, it's not easy to remove from the machine. I am doing this and she's here with me. What happens? I might actually give her the energy which she doesn't require. So the first thing, you've selected your sink, you've selected the energy, come to the machine. Okay? So if you look at this, there's one labeled apex. So I'm going to remove this. So the one labeled apex is put at the heart apex. And the one labeled sternum, is put at the patient sternum. There's a yellow button here. This is what I'll use to charge. So I'm going to charge. When it's fully charged, I want to now do what we call synchronized cardioversion. I'm going to confirm I've pressed the sync button because I'm going to shock. I'm going to send them into cardiac arrest. Okay? So clear everyone. I make sure nobody is touching the patient. If it's oxygen, it's removed. And then you press the shock button. For synchronized cardioversion, when you are pressing the release button, you press and hold kidogo for like 3 seconds. You don't press and just go back. If you press and go back, actually there was a patient who limpiana baka 200 joules and she did not convert. So you need to press and hold so that even the energy you are releasing can sink on the R wave. So you press and hold for like 3 seconds, the patient is going to jerk and you are returning the paddles to the machine. You are going to see a brief period of asystole, and then if it is going to pick sinus, it will pick sinus. If it hasn't, increase the energy, pole pole. So you are at 50, go to 70, go to 90, go to 200, until your patient is sorted. Don't discharge that patient, admit them for 24 hours at least, and call Dr. Shaush.
Our presenters.
Thank you.
So don't move away from the station, just pull a chair near you and sit down.
Where to place the leads?
Posterior ECG.
Next to you.
Posterior ECG.
And sit down.
At the posterior upper.
Alhamdulillah, it's been a great day. We're almost coming to the end. Hope you've all enjoyed and learned. You've all enjoyed. So we'll do a quick activity before we close our conference. Alhamdulillah, let's again appreciate our moderators and presenters for the skill session. So we're coming towards the end of the conference. Alhamdulillah, it's been an awesome 2 days. We've learned a lot, we've interacted a lot. We thank the Almighty Allah who enabled us to achieve all this. So before I give the mic away, I have some gifts to give away. For those who visited Mega Care booths, there were some raffles and we have some gifts to be won. I have 4 suitcases. Are they empty? They're not empty. They usually fill them with some papers inside. Okay? You never know what's inside there. You might get some money. So the rule of this raffle is that if the name is called and the person is not here, we pick another ticket. Okay, so the person has to be present in this room for them to be winners. So there are 4 bags, so I'll call 4 of our extinguished guests who will come and do the raffles. So I'll call on Dr. Faiza Nasir to give us our first winner.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, let's all pray.
Can I choose myself? Okay, here. MashaAllah. Samia Ali.
Samia Ali. MashaAllah. Photos as she's taking her present. Oh, no photos, please.
Thank you. I can give
Yeah.
suitcase.
Samia Ali, now you have a suitcase.
Now I have a suitcase. She needed a suitcase.
Shukran.
Right on time.
The second person that I will call on stage to give the second winner is none other than Mohsin Sharif. Dr. Mohsin Sharif is an epidemiologist and the director of CHEPS. Bismillah. Muhammad Ma'alim.
I almost said that. Fatima Ahmad Barakat.
MashaAllah. Ladies are the ones who take these things seriously. Shukran. Shukran, Dr. Mohsin Sharif. The third person who will give to the third winner will be Dr. Fatma Sood. It's a pleasure to have her here with us.
I think being a first-time attendant that I get to present as well.
Hold the mic.
Dr. Ali Gure.
So Dr. Ali Gure, you have a suitcase to go back with to Garissa. You can pass by Isili and feel it. You shouldn't go home empty. Okay. The third person the fourth person to give out the gift to the fourth winner is none other than Dr. Hussein Iman, who is our Vice President of Kammp. Dr. Iman and myself shared 1 year of internship in Garissa PGH. Karibu. So, and the fourth winner
I close my eyes.
is...
Close your eyes. 2 papers, 1. I thought it's my name. But Shufaya Hassan Ahmed.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Shufaya? MashaAllah. So 3 ladies have won the bags and 1 gentleman. MashaAllah. Shukran. Shukran, Dr. Hussein. And thank you very much, Mega We Care, for sponsoring us and for being with us. Let's give a round of applause to Mega Care. Now, we've come to the closing remarks of the conference, and I would like to hand over the mic to none other than Dr. Hafiz Maji, who will take over from now.
Okay, assalamu alaikum again. Your torment is close to an end. So just a little bit more kuvumilia and it'll all be over before long. At this stage, we are very privileged and honored. Oh, you want me to stand up here? Okay. We are very privileged and honored to have in our midst Dr. Marjan. Can I see Dr. Marjan? Is he here? Ah, there he is. So I think it's only fitting and appropriate that we ask Dr. Marjan to come and give us a few words of his wisdom. Please, Dr. Marjan. Dr. Marjan is the immediate past president of the Kenya Association of Muslim Medical Practitioners. No 2-term limits here, huh? Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul 'uqdatan lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Those were very flattering remarks. It gives me great pleasure to stand before this very honorable crowd that year in, year out grows bigger and bigger. And this year, thanks to the current president, Dr. Ahmed Tahir and his team. I was just sharing remarks today with Dr. Omar. I was seeing some writings of the late Professor Abdallah when he was writing in the year about 2013. There was supposed to be a Muslim health secretariat that was going to be composed of all the Muslim setups, private organizations, NGOs, and hospitals, and other NGOs in order to coordinate the Muslim health issues that we are very dear to our heart. Some of those things were mentioned there, that we come from the majority of the areas that, large areas of the chunks of the country where Muslims live are inhabited by the Muslim community, particularly the pastoralist. And one of the names that was being mentioned there was that one of Dr. Umar and Dr. Swale, who is the current medical director in Mombasa County. And these were the people that were meant to go to a conference in Outspan Hotel in Nyeri. That much aside, I think it just gives a fair justice to remember some of the people who are the real pioneers and who are there for very long. One of them is Professor Adam, who was the first chair, and Dr. Ahmed Ogwel, who was the first secretary, and they came all the way from Nairobi to tell us the good news that this organization was registered in 1998. The rest is history. I would also like to remember that though we are priding this to be the 5th international conference, there were other conferences that were being held before. And these were basically sometimes 2-day conference, sometimes day conference, which for very many years we held it at the Aga Khan Hospital, Nairobi, University Hospital, Nairobi. And there, I will take, I don't know whether Nuru is here, Nuru Awad, Fatima, whether Fatima is there, and Saif, and Saeed, and also Dr. Ibrahim, and also others who are not here, and Ashraf as well. We used to hire vehicles and go and attend those conferences in Nairobi, and I wish to thank them very dearly for that. Thereafter, then we had, of course, now the Mombasa branch formed. And then we had other chapters, the student chapters, and so on and so forth. And then the organization grew and grew up to what is there today. And for some time, I was, when the late Professor Abdallah moved to Mombasa, Alhaajartvkenya, then he handed over the chair to me, and for very long, I think for about 6-7 years, I held the post of the president of Kammp, and I'm very happy that we created some mess, or we found a mess there that Dr. Tahir is trying to clear and make it very well. Of course. The good thing about it is the introduction of very many things. Perhaps when Ashraf talked yesterday, he must have talked about the programs that we used to have here, radio program, football, those clinics. And the Lamu Kammp for very long was the pride of the Mombasa branch, I think for more than 10 years. May Allah reward them all for that good and excellent work. After that, we worked together and we revived the camps again. And we were here in 2019? Yeah, we were here in 2019. And then, of course, then there was, COVID came. And then the last conference was held in Nairobi in last year, where Dr. Ahmed Twair and team was elected. And after that long work and various challenges, I said it was important that now the other people now come and take forward and take chart the way forward. But one of the things that I wish to say about is cooperation that we have to have, and we have between ourselves first, because we have to extend this word of trying to promote and be good ambassadors of Kammp. And then later on in the region, we have to renew the ties that we had before with Uganda, with Tanzania, with South Africa, IMA. Though we are the only FEMA organization which is unique, that is having all these kind of cadres there, we are unique than the other people. That much, having gone that far, and having had this excellent conference, I wish to thank all of you, because I say cooperation is something very important, and educating the other people is ourselves, and the people close to us, and the other people who can be friends of Kammp to be very. Why I say so? About 3 years ago, while I was talking to the first Muslim medical chaplain in UK, though we have always been speaking about men Muslim chaplain, that one was UK was a lady. And she was relating a very, very important story. I hope that also that we will practice something like that. She applied. She was a lab technician. And as all medical chaplains all over the world, initially there was no course, there was no certification. I'm happy that Kammp and other groups are trying to have that. There was no degree particularly, there was no master's, but afterwards, that is something that has grown. So when she went, the head of that organization was a bishop. You know, the one in charge of chaplains was a bishop. He asked her, now what am I going to call you? Am I going to call you an ustada? Am I going to call you a sheikha? What am I going to call you, a muallima? Then she just replied plainly, call me Muslim medical chaplain. The way they were very helpful to her. They took her on various courses, and then she became very proficient. But one of the things that they had, I hope that even our chaplains and also your colleagues at Kenyatta will develop such an attitude. Whenever there's a call, whenever there's somebody who needs a Muslim chaplain, they'll be referred. Which chaplain would you like? So she gave this interesting story, which I think it is important to repeat it here. When she was called by this chaplain, by this lady, when she goes into this room, there was a Mzungu lady. And on the bed, there was almost like a dying patient. And she looked at the lady. The lady did not look to be a Muslim. Then she asked, why did you ask? I said, I particularly asked for you. But even that lady was expecting a man to come. But then she said, to cut the story short, you know, this man is the only Muslim person in our family. And I'm afraid since he's going to possibly is near his deathbed, what are we going to do when he dies? Because all of us are Christians. And that is what saved that man. She recited Yasin to him, and even when he died, they arranged his burial. He was not just disposed of like that. So I was speaking, I'm very thankful for all of you having come this far from wherever that you've come to this place. And I said that I must take this opportunity to come and see you and be with you, even despite all these challenges. One of the challenges that I've had over the last 3-4 months is one of my sons have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, with that, I need your prayers. My family need your prayers. And let's pray for all these people who are in kind of that kind of hardship and facing those kinds of difficult situations, both here and globally. With those few remarks, I thank you very much for having given me this opportunity and having given me this opportunity to work with you and lead you during those years. Subhanallah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marjan, for that journey into the past and for sharing your recent tribulations. Our prayers and sympathy with your son and you and your family. A housekeeping announcement, 500 shilling note and a charger for a laptop were found, and they're here at the IT desk. So whoever is missing those items? No? Okay. All right, okay. Dr. Marjan, you wanted to say something else?
Abdallah Mazrui was for a long time looking for his bag. I don't know whether he found it. I think it was either exchange or something.
Okay, Abdallah was. Dr. Bajabe, you were missing a bag, were you? Oh, he found it. He found it. Sorry, Mr. Mazrui had been looking for his bag, but I know he found it. Anyway, what now remains is I've been asked to move a vote of thanks. So, Mr. President, Dr. Twahir, I beg to move that this House do now express its appreciation and its gratitude to a number of people who have made this conference a success. So, first of all, I'd like to mention Dr. Nabila, because she was supposed to have been here delivering this vote of thanks, but then it was pointed out that she was the chair of the Scientific Program Committee last year. So by rights, this responsibility now falls on my shoulders. So the first person to be thanked for setting a tremendous example in the organization, in the scientific organization and the delineation of the program for the conference goes to her. So all we had to do was we had a template to work with, so it wasn't that difficult. The organization of this conference derived a lot of inspiration, support, and leadership. The national leadership of the Kenya Association of Muslim Medical Professionals. So I'd like to acknowledge the entire group of office bearers, President, Vice President, National Treasurer, National Secretary General, who supported us. I'd like to acknowledge National President, Dr. Twahir. I'd also like to acknowledge this is not a Mombasa activity. This is a national camp activity. So the president of the Nairobi chapter, Dr. Ahmed Kamau, and the president of the Mombasa chapter, Dr. Shaush. Then as our program got underway yesterday, we had very beautiful recitation of the Quran from the young man, Asad Abdul Malik, who is a resident of the Aswabur Children's Home. So again, gratitude to be expressed to him. And then this morning we had a wonderful rendition from one of our own, Dr. Tariq Isaji. So for the beautiful recitations of the Quran, Asad and Dr. Tariq. Our conference was graced by a lot of dignitaries. We had senior past leadership of Kammp. We had Dr. Shaban, who not only moderated, but who gave us his presence. Dr. Bachani was here. Dr. Marjan, you've just heard from. So these we would like to acknowledge in particular. And then we also had the privilege to be graced by the presence of Professor Zaida Qureshi, not only by her presence in the conference, but by her very beautiful presentation. She has always been a big-time supporter of Kammp and its activities, so I think she deserves a special mention. We were also privileged to be graced by the presence of Dr. Ogwell and also Mr. Ahmed Dagane, who actually had been slated for a panel but somehow could not manage to make it for that. So he did come for the conference, but we are grateful for his participation. This conference took in a lot of support from sponsors, from the pharmaceutical and allied industries. So we are grateful to all those who supported this conference. We would also like to thank the management and the staff of Pride Inn for making our stay here for the last 2 days extremely comfortable. Alhaajar TV was our media partner for this conference, and we would like to thank them for providing us with their service, which I must mention was provided gratis. So the organization of this conference, we divided up this mammoth task into 3 committees. The committees were the Scientific and Program Committee. The other one was the Hospitality Committee, led by Dr. Mohammed Maalim, and the Finance Committee, led by Dr. Omar, our National Treasurer. Now, within each of these committees, there was a large group of very dedicated and hard-working Kammp members who all worked very hard to make these past 2 days a reality and something that we will wear very proudly on our sleeves. I do not want to mention individual names because if I did that, I fear I might leave somebody out. So I just want us to give a big hand to all those who worked very, very hard. It's not a one-man show, lots of cogs in the wheel, but it was a very massive, mammoth effort from all the members of the Scientific Program Committee, Hospitality Committee, and the Finance Committee. Now, this very complicated machine actually ran very, very smoothly because it was oiled by 2 very able, efficient, dedicated, hardworking individuals. These are our Secretariat, Nuru in Nairobi, Rahime in Mombasa. They actually carried the lion's share of the burden, and they therefore should get the lion's share of the credit. So at the time we began organizing this conference, we were fearful that we may not have much material to present to this distinguished audience. But we were proven wrong, happily proven wrong. We had so much material that was offered to us that towards the end, we had difficulty in determining who to turn down. That's a good problem to have. So I would like to thank all our presenters here, the ones who made podium presentations, the ones who prepared posters for display, and the ones who conducted our skills stations. You provided all the material that is the subject of this conference, and we know some of them came from very far away. Dr. Tayari, thank you. Kongowea to the United Kingdom, back to Shanzu. So thank you very much. And as chair of the Scientific and Program Committee, I'll tell you, I've been very, very grateful to all the presenters because they all kept good time. We didn't have, in some conferences, it's a real struggle to get presenters to keep to their time limits. We didn't have that here in the last 2 days. Everybody kept good time, so I'm doubly grateful for that. Thank you very much. So now I come to the most important ingredient that made this conference a success, and actually that is you, the attendees, all of you. If it had not been for you, we would not have this conference. And I'm going to reiterate, this has been mentioned 2 or 3 times before, but we have a delegation from our Northeast chapter who actually traveled many, many kilometers in very difficult circumstances in the foulest of weather that can be imagined. And they made it here. And I think of all the attendees, permit me to acknowledge that as a very special contribution to the success of this conference. Would they like to stand up to acknowledge this? Okay, they are too humble. Thank you very much. We are deeply, deeply touched. Now, in the end, I'm going to say, I hope I haven't left anybody out in this vote of thanks. But in case I have, my most sincere apologies. Yes, of course, I was about to end with a capital offense, not having acknowledged our chaplains, Sheikh Ali Khatib and Abu Najma. I'm sorry for the oversight. Oh, yeah. And so thank you very much for your special presence, Abu Najma and Sheikh Ali Khatib, not only just for your presence, but you conducted the skill stations and you also gave us your wisdom from the podium. Thank you very much. And also, we had, along with Rahime and Nuru, we were assisted by a very able army of volunteers who came out, gave of their time to make this conference a success. So I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge their contribution to the success of this conference. Thank you very much. Okay. But again, I'm sure I must have left people out, and for all those omissions, please forgive me, but I will say thank you very much. It's been an exhilarating, for us, it's been an exhilarating journey for the last few months preparing this conference, and then the last 2 days were very special. And as we leave, I hope we have formed new friendships. I hope we have rekindled old friendships. And I hope you travel safely. And I think I'll leave the last word to Dr. Muhammad Maalim before he releases you. And as I said, I hope you go safely and travel back to all your families safely and sound. Thanks.
Assalamu alaikum. So when you see me, it's usually good. As the chair of the hospitality committee, let's all appreciate this giant here. No. Dr. Hafiz has been the chair of the scientific committee. He, together with his team, came up with the program that we've all enjoyed. Wasn't it a fantastic program? Thank you, Dr. Hafiz. We really appreciate that.
Oh, no, not at all. No, that didn't need to be acknowledged. But one thing I will say, I hope when people have grown up and they are sitting around the fireside with their grandchildren and talking about Kenya Association of Muslim Medical Professionals, I hope they will remember to their grandchildren that the 2023 Kammp conference in Mombasa was the conference that started off the Professor M.S. Abdallah Memorial Lecture, because this was the inaugural memorial lecture in memory of a giant, and I hope it'll be a feature of every Kammp conference going forward. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Shukran, Jazakallahu khair. So some few housekeeping announcements before we close with the dua. So number one, for CPD points, the CPD points are ready. You can pick them at the registration area. Some certificates are ready. You can pick them at the registration area. Now it's 5:25. The people who are going by bus, what time do you think the bus should leave? We cannot leave at 6, you'll miss Maghrib. Dr. Ashraf? Yes? After Maghrib or now? So there's tea. Do you want to go for tea? So by show of hands, how many say after Maghrib? Okay, so you all have to go and get some tea. So the bus will leave at 6:30 immediately after Maghrib. So we have the last chance. We close the session with a dua. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Shukran, jazakumullahu khair.